Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a classic 2v2 for you, something we don't cast very often, but going to be well worth it, I assure you. Now this game I've had to do a little bit of jiggery pokery to make it work. We are running a very old version of FAF. As you can see, I've got no accurate scoreboard, I've got a lot of the stuff is missing, and as you can see, this happened back when cancelling people didn't exist. This is back when Me Too was just a standard response to somebody asking you if you would like some ice cream. So we're playing on Forbidden Pass, which is a 10x10. And we've got two teams in which race mixing is not allowed. We've got a Cybran-only team, Buffmantis playing in blue. He's opening land, as you would expect, on a ladder match like this. And we've also got Sadabomination playing in grey. He's going for a standard build in Cybran land as well. On the left hand, it's very much a left versus right, especially since you've got the blue conservative colours versus the red Labour communism colours. It's just the races are backwards. We've got the wheelie playing in red UEF, and we've got UEF faithful FTXcommando. He's also going to be playing in UEF.
East side is the best.
West side is the best.
East side is the best.
West side is the best.
West side is the best.
East side is the best.
Shit, man, West side is the best.
The map is split up by this giant Z shape on it, which is, I mean, this is a long time before the third invasion of Ukraine, so painting Z on stuff didn't exist back then. Got a scout opening from the wheelie, very sensible. He always likes to make scouts, position them around the map so he can make better decisions. FTX going for the Chad walk. He's going to be moving his ACU out like this, straight through the pond. Going to be face checking all of the bushes today towards this Formex expansion up here. Obviously I can't mark it because that didn't exist back then. Now, you'll often have a situation on this map, it is a long time ago, but I did play this map back in the day, where your ACU would walk to the opposing Formex expansion on the other side of the river and you'd try to hold it. So both top players going for a bomber. This Zeus getting some engineers. FTX's bomber, though, very sadly, only be able to pick up this one on the outside. That, however, is the most valuable engineer he could possibly have picked up. This one here was going to be expanding this way, and so crippling that denies these mexes. That's basically the best result he could probably have hoped for. The wheelie is going to be expanding with his strikers. Some raiding mantis are going to cause problems there. And his ACU is doing the river crossing, so you can actually walk up this mountain. These mountains are, of course, full-sized. These are... It's kind of weird because the terrain is... the unit scale in FAF is so enormous, like canonically, like based on the measurements, that like... these are like full-scale mountains, almost. Pretty funny. FTX is going to be holding this area up here. He's making a PD. Very sensible. This area is walkable, by the way. It looks steep, but you can actually just walk up it. So, contested up here, and down here we've got a tennis match. As you can see, they're hitting the ball backwards and forwards between each other. This is a little Legend of Zelda moment, where we've got Link versus Ganondorf in the final boss battle. Smacking that thing backwards between each other. Who is going to leave this game of chicken first? It should really be the Cybran. But this is a long time ago, remember, before the Cybran increases to regeneration. The wheelie does appear to have air. He's got a nice group of interceptors here. And he gets to take down Sadabomination's inties very nicely. At the top, we kind of got the opposite situation. So, FTX is behind in air. He's got no inties here. And Buffmantis is going to use that to make a Jester. And that's really going to put pressure onto FTXcommando. He knows he has to retreat from this situation, but he's got no anti-air coming out of his factories. He's only got these 2 engineers he could maybe use. We'll stay on the top. He's also losing his middle mexes. But FTX is choosing to primary the Buffmantis ACU. If he can get this down to 2.5k, it will be a draw. He's a long way from a vet, so he can't really farm the units. And he's going to get taken down at 7 minutes 23, leaving the wheelie in a 2v1 and an APM disadvantage. 2v2 is full share, however, so those units are going to get passed over to the wheelie, who's going to try to use his air dominance here to score a quick kill back. Buffmantis sitting on 2,000 health here in the smoke. And I would expect those bombs to start falling real soon. He lost about 1,000 health in that first pass there. Will they get another one? No, he dodges. Another nice dodge. So, pretty good moves there by Buffmantis. Keeps himself alive. He's got some anti-air turrets that he's working on. What is Buffmantis creating? Well, he's... is he upgrading to Tech 2 Factory? It doesn't seem like it. Just Tech 1 from him. The wheelie, he's upgrading to T2 Air, so that's going to be the play. It's going to be Janus, probably. And yeah, just Tech 2 Air for the wheelie. So those Jesters are going to be killing off some units here. Remember, every unit they kill essentially gains them veterancy. So that's more health and more regeneration. Makes them a lot tankier. No upgrades on the ACUs for now. Both ACUs looking a bit damaged, actually. The wheelie is having a bit of a puff here. And, well, Buffmantis' arse is on fire, so he's going to be getting a gun upgrade. That's a nice drop by Sadabomination. He's going to pick up some mexes. Mexes have a lot less health these days. They were quite tanky back in the day. But nice bomber there, cleans up those. And the map is kind of dividing itself along this river, which doesn't always happen, but it's nice when that happens for a aesthetic point of view. This bomber is just having a nice look at all the terrain.
And this'll all be mine?
Everything.
Everything the light touches. What about that shadowy place?
That's beyond our borders. You must never go there, Simba.
So gun basically even at both sides of the river. The wheelie does not have guns, so he's about to face 2 gun ACUs, and they will almost certainly damage his unit superiority. Buffmantis forced to retreat his air here over superior numbers from the wheelie. His inties all the way to the back of his base. Looking at the income, the wheelie seems to be ahead, but he has literally 0 mass. He's ahead in income, but he just doesn't have any mass to spend. But the Janus getting in to Buffmantis' base. The Inties have kind of been left here. Janus are incredibly capable fighter bombers. They really do excel at... Oh my goodness, a bomb here would be absolutely devastating. That is a war crime. Look at all those Mantis just melt. Oh, that's incredible. Buffmantis will surely be forced to retreat after losing that many units. But the wheelie is also being forced to retreat down here into the water. That gun ACU just too much. Especially with that Mantis support. And with that army dead, there's nothing to stop the units pouring into his base. Also got rhinos. Is that a rhino or is that a Wagner? It's quite hard to see, but making its way in. I think that's probably a Wagner that snuck across. That means Tech 2 units are about. We've got a Tech 2 factory here for Sadabomination. No Tech 2 for Buffmantis. So they're really going to try to do a last-minute wall-off here, but with only one engineer and the pathfinding being slightly derpy on mountains, that's probably not going to work out so well. That Mantis accidentally did the dodge of its life there, somehow. In comes some gunships. We've got Stingers on the field. They're going to have to primary the anti-air, which they do. There's a banger mobile flak here, which is pounding away at them. One Stinger goes down. Second Stinger goes down. Third Stinger goes down. This flak is on fire, dude. He's on a kill streak. Second flak rolls in. This is the key battle right here. Up top, you can see there's a very large amount of units about to face off, but we'll keep it here. There is a large amount of inties, but the Janus are called back to the base. Will they be able to save it? Kind of looks like it, to be honest. There's a PD as well. How many kills can this flak get? It's just blapping the inties, look. Absolutely cursed. Look at the regeneration it had. 4-star flak. Really punishing those jesters. Sorry, the Janus. This one got war crimed though. And now it looks like Sadabomination's gonna get war crimed. The issue is, whilst this has been going on, Buffmantis has assembled Tech 2 of his own, and these hoplites are going to be very effective against Tech 1 tanks if they're microed well. Sadabomination drops into the water with his gun. The gun not effective against Janus, believe it or not. Of course, both the ACUs sitting under the water. Oh. I like how they just look at each other but don't do anything. It's so passive aggressive. Boy, you what, mate? You fucking what? He's just standing there menacingly. Well, I have torps on the field, so the torp bomber's going to start attacking poor Sadabomination. Now, if he can get into a little area like this where the torps can only do damage from one area, he'll take half damage. But it's hard to see how he can survive this. The Sky Slammers here are going to kill off torps because they don't miss. That's the best thing against about Cyber and Tech 1 anti-air, is they basically don't miss. But the torps here do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, the wheelie loses all of his inties there. Not sure how important that will be. But with only flak coming out of this bottom place and no inties... He's also taking a fair amount of damage from Tech 1 arties here. 2-star veterancy on his ACU. He's going to be... reclaiming. Incidentally, if you do want to reclaim an area with the commander, try the patrol command. Press P on your keyboard and then make a little patrol, and you can it'll actually hoover up all the mass in this area. I've been playing FAF for years and I've never really used patrol, but helps keep your ACU moving in low rated games to avoid getting TML'd, which is hilariously embarrassing. So, Tech 2 army now, these hoplites are about to get Janused. Now, hoplites don't have a lot of health. 660 hit points is only like 50% more than a Tech 1 tank. So, they do burn pretty good. Also, the Mantis icon is, this is the lab icon. I didn't realize that they used to have, the Mantis used to have the lab icon. That's really unusual. One flak there could have potentially killed every Janus, which is terrifying. So, in comes some inties, but Janus are incredibly competent air fighters at T1, T2. You can see they've got this wide wing position. When they do see an enemy intie, they'll swap to like a narrow wing configuration, and they use that front railgun instead of the napalm bombs. A ground fire attempt here tried, but the water is just slightly too deep for that pollution to get to Buffmantis. And this flak going to be doing some damage if it gets a chance. A 1,000 mass killed already. 3-star flak. The wheelie makes another appearance here. So he's going to put a little bit of pressure on, but he's outmatched on both sides, I think, now by land. He's really only got air to work with. Although, he has a lot of air. He can basically kill this. He could come over here and Janus this to death. He could probably come here and Janus this to death as well. Although a shield on a flak would shut that down. Now, the wheelie has all these torps, but he cannot see this ACU. And the reason he cannot see this ACU is that Buffmantis has stealth. Not only does he have stealth, but he is under the water. So you need sonar. You need sonar to see this. Sonar or omnisensor, right? And that's not something that's easy to get at this stage of the game right here. He's going to need to transport engineers. That little wing swap that the Janus do when they go hunting. So all of this air is useless if he can't see the ACU. And meanwhile, he is losing on the ground everywhere. Both bases are pumping out flaks, hoplites, Tech 1 arties, all good at defending from air and killing bases. And it looks like there's very little that the wheelie can do. He's taken back this 4mex expansion. And the mass income is actually kind of even for now, but that's gonna get crushed real quick when these armies come in. He's gonna lose his Tech 2 HQ here, I think. Yeah. So, no more Tech 2 air. And again, still, the wheelie cannot see. He has no idea where the enemy ACU is. He has to go for a snipe because he's losing all of his eco. But he can't find his opponent. And so the way he's going to do that, to try to find this stealth ACU, is like a Gigabrain 400 IQ move. He's got his ACU in this transport, and he's basically using the small omnisensor array on the ACU in the transport to scan the sea. Now, all these inties were sent after the transport. It's a Tech 2's transport, so it's got a little bit of resistance, a bit of armor. And he's going to continue to scan this lake until he can find the enemy ACU. But time is running out. He desperately has to find the ACU because he now can't make any more air. He needs scouts, really, as well. Can he see the ACU here? No. Where is the enemy ACU, you might ask? Well, it's actually here. But the wheelie has no way of finding that. The Janus get caught. Again, he can't repair them. He's got no way of repairing his Janus. What the health they've got is the health they've got. And all Buffmantis is doing right now is producing anti-air. That's it. All he needs to do is produce anti-air, and he wins. It's the wheelie who has to make a winning play. And he gets lucky here. He just catches the ACU scanning the water like that. Now, there's a lot of flaks here. A lot of flaks. And these Janus are not going to get more than 1 or 2 passes. What you see on the screen here is literally all the units the wheelie has left. The map is looking incredibly blue now. This is a desperate snipe. In come the Janus. They get about 4,000 damage. Buffmantis just needs to survive another 10 seconds. Torps come in. They're only going to get one past. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. The very last torpedo catches Buffmantis, and he gets killed. That game was so close because these torps would not get another pass. From that angle, they're going to be dropping on the land, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flags. That really was the last torpedo, the last shot of the game. If that didn't work, the wheelie has to draw him by control K-ing his ACU if he's in the water, because he has nothing else. Nothing. So that one last torpedo, and I'll scan the replay again and show you. I'll go all the way through, do it in slow motion so you can see just how close it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This last one. That's how close that game was. The last torp of the game. Or managed to scrape a win there for the wheelie when all was lost. Would you have thought to use your ACU as a flying sonar? What a gigabrain play. As always, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.